indeed has a spinal tumor. I don't think it had anything to do with her, walk in the park or up the stairs. I think it was a coincidence.
It's just a weird coincidence in timing.
Yeah.
And it was probably what the other vet said when we took the other cancer out, and it just kind of...
So it's a good question. The question now becomes, well, is it a primary spinal tumor, or is it a metastasis from the other cancer? I will say that most tumors in this location of the spinal cord are primary spinal tumors.
So it was probably there already.
However, I actually do think this is more likely, even though it's unusual, I think it's more likely to be a metastatic lesion.
Because of how quick it happened, right?
Well, the timing of things, yes, but also because there's another lesion in her muscle, kind of around her right shoulder.
Which is where it seems the most pain is.
Yeah. Whether or not that's, that's something that I wouldn't necessarily expect to cause a whole lot of pain and discomfort, but it's hard to ignore. And so now we have, we know the mammary masses were there, right? And then, of course, we now have the lesion in the spinal cord that, of course, is her biggest issue. The one here in the shoulder is probably, it might be causing pain, but it's not causing, major disability. I mean, you could not have that muscle and you could still function. But unfortunately, I don't think we have any easy options
There's
here.
no way to treat it.
I mean, there are ways to attempt to treat it, but I don't think any of them make sense. We could, you'd have to, it would be a major spinal surgery, which she may or may not survive because of how deep in the spinal cord. This isn't something that's pressing on the spinal cord. This is something that's growing from within the spinal cord. So it'd be a very risky surgery. Granted, she's so severely affected, she can't get much worse short of needing to be on a ventilator like we talked about last week. But I can't, in good conscience, tell you that it makes sense to try to do that, because I think, yes, we have evidence that this is in other parts of her body already, in which case, even if we got remarkably lucky and that was a successful surgery, I think these other lesions are going to create major problems for her. And so I would consider this, even though no one's biopsied what's in her spinal cord or what's in her shoulder, I think she has a terminal cancer. And if she were less severely affected, I would say, maybe we could try some medications to make her comfortable. But she's so severely affected, and she's